Here he writes, "My grandpa is getting more senile. A couple months ago at a family gathering, he was telling us about this time when he and my grandma had a friend whose husband was beating her and they killed him and served him to the people in the restaurant, and which time my sister goes, 'Papa, that wasn't you, that's the movie Fried Green Tomatoes.' He replied, 'Ha ha ha, I sure love me some Showtime.' And the time he was telling me about this time when he went through the time displacement device to save Sarah Connor and the Terminator was chasing them with a shotgun. Yeah, you get the idea." Here he writes, "Still fighting my SSD case and expecting a ruling from the judge any week or even day now. I have one of the best disability lawyers in the country, and one of the only two in Texas who sues the Fed if his clients get denied at the appeal level by a judge. His clients all worked and paid into the Social Security system with the promise that they would get payments at retirement age or if a medical condition made regular work impossible. The Fed agreed to this when they first took your first Social Security fee, and denying it is criminal. Kind of a pain, since two specialists said he is disabled, and my company paid me to sit at home for 26 weeks before firing me, stating we cannot make reasonable accommodations based on the information given by your doctors for even the safest jobs we have. EI, no company is willing to cover the insurance or lawsuit risk of someone who has random drop attacks and falls to the floor without warning. LOL. Fortunately, I can do floor presses still on a bad vertigo day. I got my bar loaded up right now on top of some cinder blocks." And so here he basically admits that he still works out even though he has vertigo. So I don't know, maybe he did have an episode or maybe he completely faked it. He basically said that he's getting paid 26 weeks while sitting at home pretending to have this disease. Or maybe he did have it, I don't know, I don't have any actual proof. This is all just my assumptions. He also wrote, "So yeah, after I win my appeal, I'm going to apply for a visa to the UK. I have a fiance there who flies here to see me for a few weeks whenever she can. No, she isn't a skank, before you ask. She is a classy, caring, and beautiful woman. Now before you ask, what in the hell is she doing with BBF, Body by Finaplix? Well, I am not sure, but I am not complaining." Here he is again claiming the high IQ test. This was in 2003. "I'm with you, bro. I scored a 147 on an official one done by a psychologist. My dad scored a 180. He's an engineer." Smelly kitty. "Normally I enjoy licking the kitty. However, I have a friend who is otherwise great in bed, except for a recent change in her smell. 2 weeks ago it was not there, and I went down on her. But the last few times I was with her, I noticed a distinct, strong, musky odor while having sex with her, and on my fingers from playing with her. When I smelled my fingers, it was almost overwhelming, and I don't think I could have gone down on her. It might be important to note that this was just before she started her period." Ooh. In these types of situations, what do one recommending doing about the smell? What do you ladies do in this sort of situation when your kitty is starting to smell not so fresh? The first time I noticed this was when she had just gotten down jogging, called and said she was horny, and came right over, still in her jogging clothes, and I contributed it to this. However, the next few times, I know she had taken a shower just before sex, and had even shaved her kitty, so I assumed it had gotten washed. And here someone laughs at Blaha's internet tough guy image on the chat board. He says, "Every second post is how I fucked this chick or that chick. I'll kill any man that beats me in a fight. Get a life. What a pathetic way to seek validation." So this is so spot on, this comment. I just love people that perpetuate their adolescent, attention-grabbing, internet tough guy image on a chat board. And this is Blaha's response. "The fight thing is strictly a philosophical thing, and I've had that since I was 17. My close guy friends are aware of it, and just accept it. I have never started a fight in my life, and do not consider myself to be a tough guy. It's not likely to ever happen, because I'm very calm, laid-back person, and very few people have seen me get angry. Everyone else types their philosophies on here, and I've read the writing of every major philosopher at one time or another, and made A's in all of these classes. This is a conclusion I've drawn as a result of my study of philosophy. It is not bragging or acting tough. I simply state it as a fact, to do with as you will. While I am a very moral person, I have a very Hobbesian view of hierarchy among organisms. If you allow yourselves to be defeated or preyed upon by another, you are a lesser being. Thus, in order to maintain my place at the top of the food chain, so to speak, I will prey upon those who seek to prey upon me. This is kind of disturbing. He says, I'm visiting my mom and sister in Houston this evening, but they are out shopping. I'm going to go swimming. I've got my little swimsuit on, so maybe my mother's neighbor's cute daughter will notice and come over to say hi. Later, peeps. This is kind of disturbing. How old was that daughter exactly? And here is some strange remark by Blaha. Someone wrote, pic of this little Italian hottie, this bitch looks PG-13, you rated R, she's not permitted. And Blaha said, definitely underage, if she lost the hat, I would hit though. So Blaha admits that he would hit an underage girl. This is kind of sick, I would say. And a lot of people actually accuse Blaha of being a pedophile. I never did because there is no actual evidence. But here he is admitting that he would do it with an underage girl. So, and here is a teen forum, and he says, whoa, an opportunity for BBF to shape young minds and make the world a better place. Damn, if I knew back in high school what I knew now, I would have banged every cheerleader and the entire volleyball team. I can really help these guys out. And he says, I'll do my best to mold these young peeps in my own image. And here he says, I just sent a personal message to a neighbor of mine, a chick. No, I haven't fucked her. I won't allow her in my apartment, actually. Underaged. She found my Yahoo profile somehow and personal messaged me. Lol, anywho, she is checking out your board now. I've heard it directly from the mouth of girls. I've girls say yes to dates right after meeting me, and have even had girls offer to have sex with me within 5 to 10 minutes of meeting. It's not a hypothesis. Seriously, BBF, you have been acting like an attention whore who is trying to get a rep as a ladies' man lately. And Blaha says, actually I appear to be someone who just finished finals, is in between classes, between jobs, and very bored with insomnia, who is just choosing to post on EF a lot more than usual, and having a little bit of fun. Anywho, you appear to be someone who takes what happens on EF way too seriously, as though the attention one gets and the rep one gets here means anything in the real world. LOL. Did you think this actually a real fight? Or that perhaps Nordy perhaps chat somewhere besides EF? We're very bored and planned it for the amusement of everyone reading. Choice 2 is the plausible one. And that guy says, I'm just saying how you come across. Whether it was a real problem is neither here nor there. You come across as an attention whore. Why is it you have a problem with such criticism? If you were as secure as you say you are, then it wouldn't be a problem. By the way, both of the scenarios were plausible. So this is really funny how that guy saw right through him. And it's really funny how Blaha claims he's between classes and between jobs, and he's just bored, when we now know that he was actually just sitting at home, only writing on forums this entire time. And this is in 2004, and he talks about being in a funeral, so this is interesting. And he tells about his thoughts in the funeral. The pastor gave a long talk about endless love and forgiveness of God. One of his cousins right after was saying how meaningless it was. A lot of us changed clothes and put on a tank top and shorts and went to his grandparents' house. I sat with my friends. His fiancée walked in, mentioned that I was as muscular as he always said, and he wasn't lying. Much to the amusement of all my friends, she started hitting on me, asking if she could touch my arms and chest, and didn't want to leave, and kept telling me she would see me again. That was rather embarrassing moment for me, and I did my best not to egg the situation on. Her fiancé just blew his fucking brains out, and she had just flipped out and made a speech about today being her wedding day, and they were now soulmates forever, and she was hitting on me in front of everyone. Okay, yeah, I admit I was trying to get info on a couple of girls there, and was checking girls out. However, this seemed to bring a smile to the face of my friend, whose brother's funeral this was. Damn, Jason, only you would be trying to get laid at a funeral. but he smiled from ear to ear when he said it. Then he said partied until 5 a.m., but as usual what goes on one of BBF's parties stays at the party. I need to be heading back to College Station soon. I really need to get back to the gym after a few days off and get back on my diet 10 and get laid. Hope my friend is okay. He is still passed out with his wife in another bedroom here. I think last night did him some good. So some weird fantasies Blaha has about women hitting on him during funerals. I guess that's what he was thinking about during the funeral. He didn't care about the person who died. He only looked at the women there and fantasized about having sex with them while at the funeral. I guess that's my opinion of what actually happened. And he obviously made up this whole story about that woman hitting on him in the funeral. So only Blaha could have made up something like this, I think. And this is in 2011, and someone wrote to him, "You're still alive? Married? Are you nuts? Who's the lucky guy?" And Blaha says, "Sign, you suck one cock and people call you a faggot for life. Anywho, I am married to a she. And by a she, I mean she was born with ovaries and a uterus and does not has a penis. Hell yeah, I'm still alive. Actually, I post a lot at bodybuilding.com these days, but so many regulars are so massively anti-steroid that it can be a bit annoying." So this is yet another admission that Body by Finaplix is indeed Jason Blaha, in case it wasn't obvious yet. To whoever is emailing male EF members pictures of my penis. There are probably 50 guys on this site who have their packages posted on EF. That has nothing to do with it. I was singled out for some reason, and if I choose, I have the right to post my penis up on the internet. That does not justify someone emailing male EF members with a picture of my penis in the email, and you know it. I am not responsible for the actions of others. Using that logic, you should also say, well, that is what you get for opening an email from someone you do not know, to the people getting it. Here he wrote, "I am retired and get social security due to my menieres. My formal background is in social psychology. I minored in nutrition, but as I was bodybuilding back then, I took extra exercise science courses for fun and elective hours. I've considered going back and getting an exercise science undergrad at some point, but financially, transportation, etc. can be a problem. Travel with my menieres is problematic, as there isn't a university I could do this at in a walking distance. I've done personal training off and on over the years in there part-time. Mainly worked with younger guys trying to get into bodybuilding or who wanted to gain a lot of muscle, a couple of competitive kickboxers who wanted to bulk up more, etc. The YouTube is just for fun, but I do realize it could massively supplement or replace my income if it grew enough, and I put in the work. I'll see where it goes. People are making more of YouTube than you might realize. I am already making a little money off it. I generally try to keep my professional and educational background private when online, to avoid people digging too much, as people are prone to do on the internet." This was back in 2012 when it just started on YouTube. By the way, Popular Military made another short article about Blaha, and they wrote, "Self-styled fitness guru and renowned stolen valor offender Jason Blaha, aka Jason Bluha," like in the police report, "is at it again, this time pointing weapons at men who were unwittingly directed to his Houston area apartment in hopes of a casual encounter with a woman. Trolled by internet users who found his spiral into paranoia amusing after he was exposed to be lying about his CIA mercenary hitman career, Blaha has recently been the target of an internet troll scheme that lures men to his address under the guise of a Craigslist casual encounter with a member of the furrier sex. Instagram videos posted by Blaha have shown him coming out of his apartment to meet two men." Anyway, we'll link it below in case you want to read that whole thing.